on. Hey, we're live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. We're live on Instagram. Hello, everyone. Well, tonight we're talking about football, baseball, and time. So, football is, along with hockey, basketball, are timed sports, play the clock. Baseball is an interval sport. The innings determine. Now, an interesting thing that's going on right now is that people are trying to add a clock to baseball. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because there is there is a lot of human emotion that is not necessarily understood that revolves around time. And I want everyone to have fun. I want everybody to have fun at work. I want everybody to have fun in every aspect of their life. You're at your best when you're having fun. And so I hope this talk is valuable to that end and can help you understand some dynamics in play regarding time. So as I mentioned, football versus baseball. Football is a timed sport. Football's a timed sport. Baseball's an interval sport. And with baseball, it just takes what it takes. And I just remember this. George Carlin made a hilarious bit about the comparison between football and baseball. After you watch this, do a search in YouTube for George Carlin, probably George Carlin football, baseball. It's pretty funny. Anyway, a very simple thing is the way that this can matter is understanding how certain jobs are baseball and certain jobs are football. So the first job that comes to mind that's baseball is marketing. Marketing is a game that takes as many tries as needed to get an appointment or to make progress. And remember, marketing is not closing a sale. Marketing is just repeated. It's advertising. And so it's intervals, it's repetition, it's systematic, but it's not a clock game. Sales is also, interestingly, it's both, in that the sales process is a game of intervals until there is a contract. And once there's a contract, it's now a timed game. It's football. You've got to deliver the goods in this time, these goods in this time. So the thing that I see when I coach people is that, well, first of all, we're more or less prefer one or the other. And I'm not going to go into all the details on what that looks like, but there's a lot of, if someone is an interval player, a baseball player, and they're put into a time position, it's not going to go, I shouldn't say it won't work, but there's going to be stress. And the other part that is even worse, though, is when a timed person, a timer type person, is put in an interval game, because timer people love deadlines. They meet deadlines. They kind of live for deadlines. And so, like, if you put a timer person into an interval game, like marketing or sales, there can be an intrinsic desire. Sorry, I got to push this button. There can be this innate desire to time things, or to say, okay, time's up. And when you're dealing in those upfront functions where you're developing relationship, and there are all these different steps that can't necessarily be, mapped out with a ton of clarity, you need to approach it as an interval game, not as a time game. So there's another aspect of time that is also important. Oh, let me add one other thing. So that's kind of like part one of this. Our middle part, our intermission, is a very quick thing that I want to say, especially to the youngsters out there. None of this is an excuse for not being on time. And I will tell you firsthand that one of the hardest things for me in my life is to be on time. I try really hard to be on time, and I'm not naturally good at it. There is a whole set of folks out there, and they're usually called business executives, and they are punctual. Now, the flip side of that personality type is that they start on time and they end on time, meaning they end on the scheduled time. And so They might cut meetings off before they're done. They might, just like I said, with the marketing and sales opportunities, there might be a curtailment of what might have momentum and could be a good thing. So, and the flip side is that if you put an interval player into like a financial reporting position, or a function where it's not a production function where it's nothing but deadlines, you could also have a mismatch there, and it's just another stressor, and it can cause anxiety. So now the last aspect of time that I want to talk about is how people perceive it. And so these correlate to the four temperaments. And I'm not going to try to load your brains with correlating that. I just want you to remember these 4 words. This is the valuable part of this, is to remember these 4 words: now, yesterday, tomorrow, and intervals. I'm sorry. Intervals. So when you're talking to someone, this is another place where you may not even realize you're having 2 different conversations. Those 4 different words apply again to different job functions. So anything that's like performance related, from athletics to sales to just being in the moment, that's that now person. We're talking about now. It's today. And in its extreme, that person really can't, is completely indifferent to yesterday and can't see tomorrow. And that's one of the reasons, if you think about it, why now people are such good athletes, because they're just in the moment. It's the play, it's over, next play, now. And that is innate to given individuals. The next one that is innate is yesterday, always looking at yesterday. Couple of professions that are yesterday focused are accountants, referees, umpires, journalists. I had a great experience one time. I was at Caltech for a symposium, and there were 4 scientists and a journalist on the board, and they were talking about the future. And each of the scientists had this vision for what his particular specialty was looking to in the future. And that poor journalist got asked the same question, and the guy literally could not speak. He couldn't turn and face the future and speak to it. And so when you start understanding that this is like fundamental metabolism, fundamental makeup, if you have like an employee or somebody and you're saying, Jim, what do you see a year from now, 5 years from now? And he can't answer. He's not being defiant. Nothing's going on. He can't do it. He can't do it. So it's important to, that's number 2 of 4. So we've got now, we've got yesterday, and the next one is tomorrow. And tomorrow, the tomorrow people are, in my opinion, God's gift to this world, because they have a capacity to say there's always tomorrow. It's just a natural thing that just comes out. And from that comes optimism, comes the flow of optimism. And so a lot of what you would characterize as ministerial type people, ministers, marketers, just anybody who's an optimistic person, overtly optimistic. A lot of people are optimistic, but that whole thing of there's just always tomorrow it's an ingrained thing, and it's a tremendous gift that helps people keep moving forward. The last one, intervals. So what are intervals? Well, intervals are like baseball. It takes what it takes. You get 3 strikes, you get 4 balls, you get whatever it is. So, interval players are like scientists and engineers, inventors. It's the event that dictates the time. It's not a clock. So one of the ways that this really matters in business is that new businesses, entrepreneurial businesses, are run by the interval guys. They are, and sometimes to their own detriment. They'll take too long to perfect the thing, or the market forces will change, whatever. There's that's going on. But it's the interval guys and gals who are the inventors, and they start companies, and those companies grow. and they start adding tomorrow people, and they start adding now people. And the bigger the company gets, the more yesterday people get added. And it's the yesterday people who can't see tomorrow who then cause the company to stop innovating. And this is, I'm not talking about, I mean, sometimes it happens way too quickly, but I'm talking like, an 80-year cycle, 100-year cycle. When you just look at the natural evolution of any company, and that's more or less what's going on. You start with the interval people. We're inventing, we're making it, we're bringing it out there. The tomorrow people show up with their optimism and their marketing and putting it out there. And then the now people arrive and they build it and they sell it. And then the yesterday people show up and they count what you did and they ring up the register and they balance the books. And you go through this cycle on and on and on. And for reasons I don't fully understand, you just always seem to add more and more yesterday people. And so then things change and organizations go away. I didn't mean to add this on such a sad note that, it all ends in death. But that actually leads me to a quote that has nothing to do with what I've just talked about. And let me wrap that up first. So four words: now, yesterday, tomorrow, intervals. Whenever you're having a conversation with someone and you're not quite gelling, run those 4 words through your head and start filtering what they're saying. And, oh, she's talking about tomorrow. Oh, he's talking about yesterday. Oh, he's talking about intervals. You now can start having more productive conversations. So here's a great quote that a dear person sent to me this evening, and I just have to share it. Healing isn't pretty, but the other side is freaking beautiful. So I hope that this was valuable in preventing future pain, but I also hope that as pain is inevitable, that you will always see the other side and that beautiful side of life. And that is what I have today. Take care. I will see you on Monday.